Hi, Mike Griffin here with another edition of MTD TV. We were challenged recently to monitor a large Avid system containing over 350 devices, and this is the graphical layout. If you've looked at any of our other videos or seen our products, this is the graphical layout, one of the views that we chose in order to represent the data. And you can see that the equipment is organized in racks, each rack representing a PC, the devices being all in PCs, except for the switch, which is down here. As with all our products, on the graphical view, if you hover, you can see the most recent messages, and this one says could not renew lease for notification, and this sounds like a problem with name management. Coming down here, we see one that says pool non-paged bytes. The pool non-paged bytes is the Microsoft fixed memory, the memory that they don't swap out to disk, that's taken solely out of RAM. And it's a fairly serious problem if you run out of that. So we watch all sorts of things. In fact, we'll watch whatever you tell us you want to watch. You can add that in there as well. We also, here's the Avid airspeed, and you can see a process exiting on that. And with all of our stuff, if you click on a device, you drill into it and open the particular page up for that, and you can see on this airspeed a number of messages that have been accumulated. And you can see over here there are things like system load that we're monitoring, and you can see the system load over time. There's a daily view. Here's what's happening right now, and here's what's happened last night, and we can look at it over the week, and you can see we've been monitoring it for several weeks now, but that will accumulate over time. And all these parameters you can monitor. In addition, we can look at the current net stat on it, see what it's connected to. Let me make this a little bigger here. These are all the devices that are connected into this. You don't have to go to the console to look at it. Another important command in the Avid world is MSLS, having to do with the material that's on that device. And because this is a FreeBSD, and if you're not familiar with FreeBSD, it's a lot like Linux, here is the top command that shows you what's going on with it right now, the processes that are running and so forth. All there waiting for you. We also store the system logs, and if we click that, you'll see that, and that accumulates every few minutes. The logs on all of these devices, every one of them, we consolidate in this view, and if you wanted to check the system logs from any of these devices, you just simply click on it, go and hit the logs button, and they're all there waiting for you. And you can invite people in. If you have a manufacturer you're working with a particular problem about, and you want to invite them in to view the logs, they have access to them in near real time. Within 4 or 5 minutes, the logs for a particular problem will be there. So that's the overview page, and you can see all the devices are here. They all have hover tags, and you can get to any of them by clicking and drilling in. Now, we go a little farther than that. On this page, we consolidate messages for all the devices, interleave them by time. You can see the timestamps over here and the different devices. Sometimes something that happens on one device impacts another, and so we collect them all together and correlate them chronologically. And of course there are various sorts. You can select a particular device. You can filter the level of alerting you want. Like if we wanted to see only red alerting, we can do that. So quite practical in that regard, and you can see that well, this particular device has had a history of things going on. We also have a different view into the system. If you want to look things a little different than on that front page, we have this button view. Again, the same devices, and again you can click on them and it will drill into that particular page. And this is a Windows device this time. Last time we were looking at the FreeBSD device. You can see the messages that have accumulated from the device in this window. If we pick any of these parameters that we're monitoring, you can see that these are Windows WMI parameters, since this is a Windows box. Pick any of those, you'll see we graph it out for you over time, so you can see that the process has been running fairly easy and smooth on this one. Likewise, here's disk free space. We can look at that, and you can see that there's a lot of free space there. Go back to messages. We can also, as before, look at the event log over time. We store all the event logs here, going back into a long time ago. There is an inventory button, and the inventory button tells us how this machine is configured. And evidently this one doesn't want to tell us that. We'll go to the logs. We'll look back at the inventory on another machine. You can see the logs have been collected over time and they're archived. Typically we do a 30-day archive, but there's no reason with storage as inexpensive as it is these days that you couldn't store them for years if you so chose to do that. Clicking on the details button, you can see a lot of information about that particular PC that has been pulled out and stored here, all easily gathered in one view. We also look at the switches. If we pull the core switch for the system, you have a nice view, and if it's green it means a port is active, gray means it's an inactive port, and if we hover we get to see the traffic that's on that particular port. Network connection seems to be a little slow today, a little slow filling in. You can see the current in kilobytes and out kilobytes there, and there's the graph now. You can see there's quite a bit of traffic, but overnight it was quiet. And we can go to any of these ports and get the same type of thing with the hover effect. Miscellaneous tab, net status, an overview of what's connected and what's not on the system. PC config, we have a place that you can go to and see, for example, 3.5 gig machine, 2 gig of RAM. All of these things are gathered here in one place, what's running and what's stopped on it, all for you to look at. Engineering tab, there's a number of custom things that we can put there depending on what your needs are. And that's the quick overview from MTD Systems. You can see us at www.mtdsystems.com.